Hey everyone, Random Randy here. It is August 27th. It is first thing in the morning, as you can tell by my lovely 5 tones of gravel deeper than usual voice. I obviously have not showered because I just woke up, so if that bothers you, oh well. With everything that's been going on, it's entirely possible that having a shower will be a luxury to me soon anyway. So, it's been about a month since I posted the video that I put up in July. It was earlier in July too, I believe, so it's been a little bit longer than a month, I think. Things have been nuts. I am still packing things, even though having the energy to pack has been difficult. And yes, I split dyed my hair. I'm half platinum blonde, half auburn-ish, reddish. Not that you can really tell right now because my hair is pretty gross because I just woke up. So, I've been working at the clinic for a little over a month at this point. I have been trying to find a place to live. It has not been going well. If you're on my personal Facebook, you will have seen all of the ups and downs and exactly how not well it has been going. I have enough money for a first/last security deposit. I have a decent credit score. It's in the high 600s, low 700s, which is okay. It's not the best, but considering I was down to 500 from having to max out credit cards to buy groceries for my kids when a certain someone was temporarily away before we were completely not together anymore. I think I'm doing pretty good in that regard. But anyway, so credit score is decent. I have no convictions. I have no evictions. I don't have any outstanding non-payments in my credit history. I have a good rental history with the places that I have stayed. And apparently, because of the eviction moratorium that I'm sure if any of you either own property or are renting and have been having issues paying your rent, you're aware of all of that. That essentially, no matter what, landlords could not kick tenants out for non-payment, which during the pandemic, which yes, we're still unfortunately dealing with the pandemic, but that's neither here nor there. I have my own opinions about that, and I guarantee some of you would not want to watch or listen to me anymore if you were to hear all of my in-depth opinions about that whole kerfuffle. But anyway, essentially, landlords couldn't kick you out for not paying your rent, which means there are no units available right now in my area of Washington. I have spoken with more property managers than I care to count, and 3 of them yesterday morning, because I mentioned to them I was having a hard time finding a place because there just weren't any units available. I had 3 of them yesterday morning say to me, well, yeah, it's really unfortunate because we have some tenants that have been here for a long time and they have not given us a cent in over a year. I was like, are you effing kidding me right now? Like, I have money. I have kids. I have a job. Not just a job, I have a career that nets me a decent amount of money. I just need a roof over my head. Like, I don't even care if it's a 1-bedroom at this point. I can make a 1-bedroom work for me and the kids. I've only got them every other week anyway. If I can manage to fit their bunk bed and my bed into the bedroom, then we'll just spend most of our time out in the living space. And if I can't manage to fit my bed and theirs in the bedroom, then I will put my bed in the living room. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I just need a place to be. And there's nothing anybody can do for me because of the eviction moratorium. And because of that, nobody will take a chance on renting to me because I have only worked for pay at the clinic for a month. We went to look at, the boys and I went, which made this even more disappointing and upsetting because they were there. So I had to keep my shit together and not freak out and scream and absolutely lose it, which I did later, but I'll get to that. So went to look at this apartment, which was great because it was a 2-bedroom. Granted, the 2-bedroom, the second bedroom was just big enough that it would have fit the boys' bunk bed. And it might even not have fit the bunk bed. They might have just had to sleep on the floor. That's how small the second bedroom was. So it probably would have ended up being my office space had we gotten it, because I don't think that their bed would have fit comfortably in there. I know for a fact mine wouldn't, but the master bedroom was big enough. We probably could have fit both of our beds in there anyway. Went to look at this place. It was a privately owned thing, not through a big corporation, which is an issue around here. There are several big property management companies that own, I would say, about 85% of the rental properties in Pierce County in Washington, which might be fairly common. Hi, Atticus's butt. But whatever. Annoying, regardless. So I'm thinking, oh yay, I get to see a person. I get to explain my situation to them. And everything's going great. Speaking with this woman, and she seems understanding. I've explained, I would have been working sooner, but everything got delayed by 6 months because of COVID. So I finally finished my school, and as soon as I did, I got my license. You guys all know that. You know all the crap I went through with dealing with the Department of Health because everyone was working remotely. So paperwork processing took a million years. Anyway. But yeah, so explained the situation, told her what was going on. She seemed really understanding. And I've got, paperwork printed out showing that I get child support. Paperwork printed out showing that I get payments from a rental property back in New York that go towards my income. I've been getting those payments reliably every month for 7 or 8 years. I don't know if there's 2 or 3 years left on it. Anyway, there's a house back in New York that was going to be my house that I signed into a land contract on. I paid off my portion of it, and I am subleasing it now because the deed still hasn't been signed over into my name because the property owner is dragging his feet and I'm across the country. So even with my dad hounding him, there's only so much I can do about that. But rental property in New York that people are on a land contract to purchase from me the same way that I purchased it from the owner, who was a good friend of mine's stepdad. Anyway. But I have, financial proof that I get pay for those things because I keep records because I'm smart and that's what I do. And I've got all this paperwork showing that I get this money, and I was like, until my kids start school in 2 weeks, I'm only working every other week. So what I have to show you as far as pay stubs go is going to double because I'll be working while they are in school as well. And then she says, okay, well, it all looks good to me, but I'm going to go get the boss man, who apparently is her father. And he's this, I hate to judge people immediately upon seeing them, but seeing the man that walked up, I knew from that moment on that it probably wasn't going to go well. He's very loud and bombastic, but speaks as if he puts on a big show about having a large personality because he's not the sharpest of tools in the shed. Starts off by asking me what I do for work. I tell him, I'm a licensed massage therapist. He goes, so you're a masseuse? I'm like, well, masseuse has sex worker connotations, actually. We try not to use that verbiage anymore. And he's like, oh, no, I'm not implying. I'm like, I know you're not. With older people, it doesn't bother me when they use the term masseuse because that was the common term for my job to people who are, I would say, above probably 50-ish. So it doesn't really bother me. I don't think that they have any ill intent by saying it that way. Anyhow, I'm like, yes, that is what I do. He was like, okay, what do you have to do for school as far as that goes? I was like, well, it's a trade. I had to go to a vocational school, to a trade school, and studied book things and had hands-on time. It was supposed to be an 11-month program, but with COVID, everything got knocked back by 6 months. He's like, okay. And asked a lot of personal questions about my relationships right now and about the kid's father and whether that was the man that I was no longer dating but still living with. And I was like, no. What does that have to do with the price of tea in certain locations? And tried to get really weirdly in depth with my personal life because, I'm a single mom. So clearly there are implications there to some of the older people that have certain ideas about things. And all is said and done, he talks to the kids a little bit. He asks about them. I tell them, they're going to be going to school. The next town over, I need to be within a certain range, but I can't afford to live in there. And he's like, well, if your whole family's on the East Coast, why don't you move back home? Because my ex-husband won't let me. Oh, you don't have any friends or family you could stay with here? If I had friends or family I could stay with here, do you think I'd be applying for apartments? That's when I knew it wasn't going to go well. He's like, well, everything looks good, except for I just can't get past the fact that you only have a month of work under your belt. It's just too new. I'm like, but it's a career that I studied for over a year to have the licensure to have. It's not like I just started a minimum wage job. And don't get me wrong, I am not knocking minimum wage service jobs. I've been there. I did my time in the trenches. I worked in retail and fast food for a decade. So I know all about it. You do what you gotta do. That's all it boils down to. Regardless, it's a lot easier to walk away from a job at somewhere like McDonald's because there's 20 other fast food joints down the road. If they treat you like crap, you can go down to a different one. It's not difficult. It's very easy to switch jobs in that sector. That is one perk of working in retail and food. You can always jump ship to a different store. It's not very difficult, provided you don't get fired anyway. And I was like, okay then. And he looked at me and had the stones to say, good luck. And I said, you tell that to my boys, because when I'm homeless in a week and they don't get to see me because they have to stay with their dad because I have no roof to put over their head anymore, they're the ones that are going to need luck, not me. Thanks for nothing. Have a nice day, sir. We left. Needless to say, I managed to operate on pure rage until we got closer to home and got to the Walmart parking lot because we were planning on picking up groceries on the way home. So we did. Put the car in park, bawled my eyes out as quietly as possible for probably a good 5 minutes. Dried my face and went in and got groceries that we needed because that's what we needed to do. Came home feeling totally lost. Had to take the cinnamon rolls out of the oven. So anyway, totally lost my mind in the Walmart parking lot. Got her groceries. Got out. Got home. Proceeded to lose it some more because at this point I am frightened, for lack of a better word, because I don't know what the hell to do. If a small, independently owned property manager refuses to see the things completely out of my control that I have been dealing with, that I have combated to the best of my ability. I know a bigger rental company isn't going to give a shit. And they just won't. And I'm not going to waste between $30 and $60 applying to these places, knowing full well that they're going to tell me no. And on top of that, I'm smart and started calling them before even considering submitting applications to see if they actually even had the vacancies, because a lot of them, I called and they're like, oh yeah, no, that's not available anymore. I'm like, then why in the hell is the listing still up if it's not available? Take the fucking listing down. What is wrong with you? You're clearly sitting there in an office. It's not hard to go on the website and just deactivate or delete the listing. It's really not a hard thing. So I've still been looking. I did apply to a few places yesterday, as much as I hate the money to apply, wasting the money to apply. And I was like, okay, worst case scenario, I could have the kids just stay with Adam for the month, and I could visit them a little bit after they're done with school every day, and then take them back to him around dinner time because I wouldn't have anywhere for them to be, and I could stay in my van. That would be really hard with the cats. I still don't know what I would do with them if I didn't have another option, because then I could, just live in my van for a month until I have adequate employment history. And then I'm sure I'd run into an issue because I was homeless for a month. But that doesn't matter, right? Like, oh, why were you homeless for a month? Because I didn't have adequate employment history, because I started working in the career that I studied for over a year to have, and nowhere would rent to me. Like, I understand from a property manager perspective that, yeah, I'm sure it's frustrating and you're reticent to bring anybody on who might not give you money. But apparently now, thanks to somebody who is on my Facebook, personal Facebook, apparently they finally made it so in the next couple of months, people are going to be getting kicked out if they can't pay. Which, like I said, I don't want people to be homeless, but if it's somebody who has been willfully abusing the fact that they don't have to pay rent and they're going out and just blowing their money on like 60-inch flat screen TVs and shit, sorry, I don't feel bad for you. I don't. For people who genuinely can't manage, I hope that they are able to find other help so that they do not lose their homes. But for the people who've been purposely going, this is my chance to not have to pay the man. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to have to pay the man either, but I'm going to have to rent for probably another year or two before and hopefully by then the housing bubble will be popping violently so that you'll be able to purchase a house in Washington for less than $300,000. Yeah. I was trying to explain to my dad, my parents still live in New York. If you don't know, I am from New York. I am currently in Washington State. It is like a whole other world of nonsense out here that I feel like I'm in a foreign country. I can't. So many things out here still don't make sense to me, and I've been here for 6 years this October. 6 years. So yeah. What was I talking about? I don't remember. I was hoping I would be able to just do this in one take and not have to edit it, but I've had a couple of rambles and cat issues that I'm going to have to edit out. So, long story long, if none of these places pull through in the next day or so, I have applied for a personal loan because my credit score is good enough that I can get a personal loan big enough that I can live in an extended stay hotel with the cats and the kids for about a month. It's not ideal, but it's better than being in my van, at least. And then whatever money I don't end up using from that, I can just dump right back into the payment of the loan so that I don't end up paying as much in interest. Or use some of it towards first, last, and security deposit on an apartment when I finally have another month of experience under my belt, because that employment history is the most important thing. Nothing else matters. So I do have an option, at least, I'm hoping. I applied for it yesterday afternoon, so I probably won't know until later today. I'm hoping before close of business today, because if I don't get that one, there are a few other places I can apply. Because barring that, I don't have any options aside from living in my van. And the idea of not being able to see my kids except in a visitation capacity for a month kills me, because that's exactly what he wanted. And I feel like he's still winning. And that no matter what I do, he always comes out on top. I feel like that's extremely, extremely unfair. And you know who I'm talking about when I say he, if you've been here for a while. And hopefully, if he and his cohorts are watching, I hope that they feel good about themselves. I have to say that even though she's not my favorite person, I am thankful for my ex-husband's girlfriend, because it means that my kids have a place to be if I can't give them one for the next month. So there's that, at least. I've had people offer to give me quite sizable chunks of money, which I am extremely grateful for, that I have people who not only care about me, but are able to do that if I need it, but I am putting it off as long as possible unless there's no other way. You guys know how I am. I don't want to take advantage of people, and I would feel horrible if I did borrow money and couldn't pay it back to them in the time frame that I said I would. I would pay them back eventually as soon as possible, but I don't. Everything feels so uncertain and just up in the air right now, and I don't want to risk damaging my relationship with some people over money, because let's be honest, money fucks up more relationships than it saves. Well, I only managed to burst into tears once. That's pretty good. I'm amazed I was even able to do that, because I figured I was out of tears after how much I cried the other day. Yeah. So sorry this was kind of rambly and ranty and long, but I'm still alive. I'm still kicking. I'm still swinging. This is temporary. And now that the eviction thing is back in effect, hopefully, by the time I've gotten enough employment history under my belt, I can't get over that. I know that I'm being super sarcastic and bitchy about it, but I can't. It's not okay to me that is the only thing keeping me from getting a place right now. With how much money I'm making in a month, it's unbearable that is the thing. That because the whole world was on pause for 6 months, I can't get a place to live. Yeah. So, from the stress, my skin looks like crap. I look like crap. I feel like crap, if I'm being honest. I haven't been sleeping well at all. I'm sleeping on my couch right now down in the spare room. That's why I'm not filming down there, because the craft room has become everything. I want to get more things packed, but right now I don't really have room to pack them because all of my places to put boxes are full of boxes. And yeah, until I get a truck so that I can put everything in it and know where I'm going to be putting the things in the truck, because if I end up having to get a hotel, I'm going to have to also pay for a storage space to put all of my stuff, because I'm obviously not going to be able to take anything other than like bare minimum clothing, toiletries, my computer, the cats, and some dishes to the hotel. Everything else is going to have to be in a storage space for a month. So I'm going to have to figure out how big of a storage space I need. I've been shopping around trying to find the best rates for that, somewhere in the Tacoma-ish area, because I'm going to be either in Tacoma or Lakewood more than likely. We'll see. Not quite sure. Somewhere in that region, over in western-ish Pierce County. And on top of that, I'm going to have to probably get a post office box so I don't have to worry about any of my mail getting lost, even though I'm sure that my ex-boyfriend / current roommate right now wouldn't have a problem just holding my mail and having me come get it like once a week. I don't think he would mind that. But yeah, it's life is what it is, I guess. I'm doing my damnedest to try to make the best out of a shitty situation. I'm kind of falling short on optimism right now. I don't really have a lot left of it to go around. But I'm trying. So I hope if anybody else is dealing with similar things to this, which I'm sure there are lots of people that are trying to find places to live right now and can't because there just aren't vacancies or whatever their reasons are. I hope that you're okay. I hope that you have a safe place that you can be. I hope that you have somebody who can help you. Una, I don't need your butt near my coffee cup, cat. Yeah, so I love you guys. Like I said, I hope you're doing as well as you possibly can be considering everything that's going on. I'm gonna keep on trying. If you guys have ever wanted anything from my shop, now is the time to get it. I haven't gotten that stuff packed up yet because I'm hoping to sell a lot more of it in the next couple of days so that I don't have quite so much to pack and take with me. I have a bunch of bags and stuff up in the shop. I still have some hand-dyed yarn. I've always got patterns up there. There's weight crochet sleigh themed gear, which is the little logo thingy that you always see at the end of my videos, that I designed that graphic and put it on a bunch of stuff. So that is a print on demand thing though. So I get a portion of that. I have to okay it and it gets shipped from the printing facility to you. And that is, my Etsy shop is Anseer Handmade. And if I'm going to have to edit this anyway, I'll probably pop it up on the screen. And if I don't, then you can just go down into the description box below the video and it'll be right there. It's usually under snag a bag from my shop, it'll say. So, hello spam text. No, I'm not confirming a delivery for a package that I didn't order when you can't even spell delivery right. So yeah, on that note, take care of yourselves and each other. And I will update you guys with what's going on when I get a chance to. Bye, guys.